Public speaking is a scary activity for many people, as they are not exposed to it very much growing up. However, it is also an important activity, as it is needed for interviews, presentations, getting your point across in general, and for journalists and people involved in media, mostly everything about their jobs. For many people, they tend to use filler words when speaking in public. Words like like, These words can be very distracting from your speech, but can also be hard to detect because we are so used to using them. Currently, there are not many apps out there that track the use of these words. In fact, most apps purposely don't track filler words to allow for a cleaner transcription of what you're saying.
Our application Speech Tutor is a tool for users to help identify filler words in their speech. To begin using the application, we see the home page where the user is prompted to begin recording a speech. When the user begins recording a speech, the application starts detecting filler words that the user is saying, such as ah or When we pause the recording, we have a timer on top indicating how long the elapsed time of the speech is. On bottom, we have a counter that increments every time the user says a filler word. This is useful because the user sees in real time when they have aired and used a filler word. This can also facilitate them in speaking without filler words as they speak on. Upon finishing a recording, you can either cancel or save the recording. We will select Save. We are then prompted to name the recording. We will call it Demo. Now we can navigate to the playback page. Here we can listen to previous recordings, delete them if we no longer have a use for them, or share them with friends. The advantage of being able to share them with friends is that you can get additional feedback on the content of your speeches from peers. Now if we navigate to the settings page, we can toggle the filler words to customize our speech tutor experience. If a filler word is set to on, then the filler word detection will increment the counter every time that word is detected in their speech. And similarly, if it is set to off, then the detector will not detect that filler word and will not increment the counter when the user says that in their speech. Finally, we can look at the statistics page. Here we can view your speech history over time. This graph depicts how many filler words in total you have used over time. The y-axis is the number of filler words, and the x-axis is the speeches over time. We can also click the drop-down menu and look at specific filler words. We faced several technical implementation challenges. The largest challenge we faced was that originally we were using the Google Speech-to-Text API to identify filler words, but unfortunately the API doesn't allow for simultaneous recordings and analysis, and furthermore the API is designed to automatically filter out filler words. Seeing as how filler words is the crux of our application, we moved to the open source CMU Sphinx API, which allows for simultaneous recording, analysis, and filler word detection capability, thus enabling us to build Speech Tutor.
We started our design using a simple paper implementation that served as a guide when we first transitioned into Android. And the overall structure of the interface remained largely similar throughout the process. However, there were several major changes. The button in the middle changed fairly substantially. Our initial design featured a green play button and a red pause button. User testing showed that the functionality of these buttons was not obvious, and in particular, the separate button used to count ums or to display or to determine whether or not a sound we played when an was detected was not obvious, and in our final design we abandoned the use of any other buttons except for the record button. The playback page remained largely unchanged from its initial design to the final design, although it went through several iterations along the way. In particular, we increased the button size, as user testing showed that users found it difficult to hit the relatively small icons we provided. We also experimented with removing information such as the counts or filler word count per recording, but felt that that was actually something worth keeping.
Going forward, we would like to improve the detection accuracy of our app. Although it works pretty well right now, sometimes if you say things like versus it won't catch the second one. We would also like to provide better, more useful statistics for our users. Lastly, we would like to publish this app on the Play Store so everyone can use it. We hope you do too.